This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Easthampton City Council Finance Committee meeting. It's 5:30 to April 9th. Let's see, approval of minutes. Councilor Hoff, thank you for minutes from our last meeting, which was 2 weeks. What day was that?
It was 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's definitely 2 weeks ago. Yes, so I would entertain a motion, that would be the 26th. Right? Yeah,
Yep.
okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 26th.
So moved. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. No mayor, no public. So I guess let's just get right into the item at hand, which is a supplemental appropriation for, well, there's two supplemental appropriations. Let's start with the $20,000 from general stabilization to legal. Anyone want to speak to this?
The only thing I know is the funding source is coming from general stabilization, but what includes in the legal cost, that's mayor's department.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on with that, unfortunately.
Right. I
Because
mean,
that was one of my questions, was for 85,000 and now you're adding
Oh,
another.
no, that's, no. Sorry. What was your question?
So no, my question was going to be that the budget was approved for 85,000. This is 20,000 more. I was going to ask if any in the interim have it also been added since the budget, or is this the first time we've requested money? And further,
Supplemental money.
what was it for?
So I can tell because I sign off on all these documents. This is the first time for this fiscal year.
Okay, perfect.
Every year around this time, there are some I always call them repeat offenders, but it's mostly like, you don't know what's going to be.
Right.
So they are just like,
For the end of
as
the
they're-
budget
yes, so
fiscal year.
so like Medicare taxes, and there are certain ones which are obvious ones, snow and ice deficit. So this is one of those obvious ones.
Okay.
However, I do not know what lead into increase or up to the dollar amount. I mean, last year, I think it was in May we needed money, but I can confirm that. But the second portion was not out of my knowledge.
I know the mayor's office did deal with a new union this year. So there may have been additional negotiations or review of that union agreement. Yeah, this is only speculation. I can't tell you that this is
I'm
what's
quoting
happening.
you in the minutes.
Speculation.
I'm quoting you in the minutes.
That could be it.
Okay,
okay. Sure.
That's the only idea I would have.
all right. I mean, that would make
In terms
sense.
of
That would make sense.
unplanned expenditure of legal
Right.
funds because of extra,
Yeah.
an entirely new union, unit or, union.
Right,
component.
the city hall staff.
Okay.
I mean, so yeah, this is a notoriously difficult one to forecast, so I'm not surprised that it's here. And I'm used to the idea of we usually have to bump this up towards the end of the fiscal year. Just before it goes to a full hearing, I wouldn't mind getting just an email even if or for the mayor to show up to just for best practice, just document what this
And
is all
I feel
about.
very confident that you can write such an email and request
Yes.
it.
And I feel fine that we can send this to council without
Yes.
a recommendation.
Okay.
And then she
Debate
at
it
that time
live.
can,
Agreed.
Okay. So then, I would
Table
move
that
that
one.
we just bring this back to full council without a recommendation.
Yep, so I'll make a motion to send it back to council without a recommendation, and at that time, we can. Second.
All right, got a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Whew. And
Although I
then,
would like to know if it's possible. What is the, do we have a balance in the general stabilization? Public?
If this appropriation, without this appropriation, we have 5,155,314.69.
It's a lot of numbers.
So,
Oh, okay.
so without.
Oh, and this
yes.
is this what you were putting in?
No,
Oh.
so this minus,
Oh.
so basically, this was the beginning balance. Then
Yes.
these two appropriation went through. This is the bank interest. Bank interest is only as of September 30th. December 31st and March 31st is not yet posted, and it will go up. And then this is my general ledger balance before I sign off on this,
Okay.
and this is the $20,000. So if this goes to the finance committee and city council.
Becomes that.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
we should honestly, like, I wonder if there's a way, I don't want to put a ton of work on you, and it's not on our agenda anyway, but to just make a point of just going over these balances just at the start of our meetings might be a useful thing to.
So I normally bring it in anticipation that I'll be asked the question. If question is asked, I present it. If not, then I don't present it. But I can just present it or just send an email. I know I can't send email all three of you at the same time, but I can email you.
Sure. Well, you can email us
We just can't
information.
email back
Oh,
the
I see.
question.
We just can't
Okay.
deliberate
You
about it.
can shoot it to all three.
All
of us.
three together as a group?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
you can always just send us information.
Oh,
And that
okay.
would be great if,
Yeah, I
you
can
know,
do
and then
that.
if we had questions, we would have it.
Okay,
That'd be
sounds
great.
good.
Thank you.
Super. Yeah, that's great. I love that. We ready to move on to the next item? Okay. So the second request is an interdepartmental transfer for $4,500 from the treasurer's salary to central purchasing for some paper and postage and other supplies.
Correct.
We have to discuss this.
Sure. Right now I have about $348 left. I'm committed in my central purchasing, office supply, postal budget. I am looking at about $1,500 in mailing to be completed before the end of the fiscal year by the city clerk. Those are voter acknowledgements, vital record mailings, and dog licenses.
Is that what calls bulk paper?
No, I'm talking about the postage. I can talk
Okay,
about
so the
both.
2,500, 1,500 of that is,
Yeah, I'm just talking about the postage
Got it.
right now. There's $800 on that machine. We use about anywhere between $300 and $400 every week when we send out the AP accounts payable checks. This time of year, we're also sending out W-2s and other tax documents for our employees. In addition, this was an election year, both federal and local, so that takes some resources out of our postal machine, as well as I cut checks directly to LH Associates, which do the census mailings for the city clerk. But as it stands now, again, I've got $348 uncommitted left in my budget. I've got about $1,500 in postal expenses for the city clerk between now and the end of the fiscal year, and the rest of that $2,500 would go right onto the machine to cover all of our other uses for the rest of it. Bulk paper. I'm sorry, go ahead.
can you just introduce yourself to the, just,
Sure, I'm
nobody's here, but just for the
Sure.
record.
I'm Michael Owens. I'm the procurement officer and interim treasurer for the city.
Thanks.
So that is behind the $2,500 request for additional postage costs. Bulk paper, I just looked at last year's bulk paper and we spent a little over $2,000. We have spent all of the $2,900 budgeted for bulk paper this fiscal year. So that $1,500 will buy about 24, maybe 36 cases of paper. So that'll be three paper orders in April, May, and June for about 12 cases of copy paper on each order. And the function of this is, folks, that we just have more people working in this building. Now, when I first took over the central purchasing budget, I think there were 2 people in the health department and 1 was part-time. Now there's like 5 people working down there. Same could be said of the planning department. Same can be said about the assessor's office. Not the number, not going from 2 to 5. Actually, I think assessors did go from 2 to 4. But you get my.
Yeah.
We just have more people in the building, making more copies. So I'm asking for allowance for more copy paper. And then the other 500 is just for other supplies. I have a outstanding request from the new health director for some office supplies. I have an outstanding request from the engineering staff downstairs for some office supplies. And I believe this is what I will need to meet those necessary needs between now and June 30th.
Thank you.
And I'll have discussions with the mayor's office in terms of increasing this budget for next fiscal year based on how she wants to proceed. I'll have those discussions with her at my next budget hearing or prior to.
Super. Thanks, Michael. That was very thorough. Any questions?
Just for the sake of community, can you explain why we're taking out the treasurer's salary line?
The treasurer has separated from employment with the city in late December, I believe. I think it was late December, or December 30th or 31st. So that treasury line item is not being hit with a payroll withdrawal every 2 weeks. The stipend I am receiving for serving as interim or temporary treasurer and the added duties taken on by Jeannie Martindale, the assistant city treasurer, we are both getting a stipend, which is also coming out of that salary line item. I've had conversations with the mayor's office and the auditor, and I understand there is sufficient funds in there to fund this interdepartmental transfer, as well as the stipends that both myself and Jeannie receive for taking on extra work between now and the end of the fiscal year.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Good question. Anything else? I would.
Can I add a couple of things in here? So the postage retirement board also uses our postage machine to get the benefit of reduction in the stamped cost. At the end of the fiscal year, Michael will send the retirement board an invoice, which is normally $1,200, $1,400.
Anywhere between 12 and 14.
So that gets back to the general fund. So though we are paying as an expenditure upfront, by the time books are closed, it comes back to the general fund as a revenue. So it's like 6 months. Yeah, it's somewhat offsets it that way. So that's one thing towards that.
Yep.
The reason we are doing, because it's funding source, the reason why I was okay moving money from treasury salary line, because there is a vacancy for the almost over 3 months now. There's some surplus there. The other thing is if we take it out from reserve fund, that needs to be advertised. That cost more money.
And more postage.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's very
that
good,
this
yeah.
way, if it's like with like 2 departments, it's like procurement is kind of its own sub-department under treasury department. So we can, it's not that
Kind of the
auditor
same
is
family.
transferring. Yeah, it is. So, why waste that money?
That's clever.
Smart move.
Going the same word.
I was trained by Barbara on that one.
Super.
I love it. Barbara.
All right. Well, if there's not anything else, I would entertain a motion to recommend this appropriation to the full council.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Super. All right.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you very
Michael.
much for everything
Thanks,
you will
Michael.
do.
Thanks, Hadel.
Is there, do you have, yes. Do you want to talk about that? You can come up here if you'd like.
Good evening, folks.
Thanks, Michael.
So I just have never mind.
I'll talk to you in the morning.
Never mind. I thought it was your boss.
Are you coming to city council?
I will be there,
Okay,
yes.
sweet.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, the quarterly report you asked me last time, so I got confirmation from external auditors for a preliminary audit is done, this last week, Thursday. I had a quick conversation with Mayor to work on the free cash submission and, the, Schedule A for 24. So once that is done, would be able to give you a report for June 30th, 2024. Then I'm gonna work with Treasury Office to see if they can do all the posting of the interest. Because if I run the reports now, I can only give you a report as of September 30th, 2024, which will be a final report. But if you ask me to provide a draft report with, I don't know how many receipt batches are gonna be missing from that pile, I can run it as of March 31st. But in reality, just like the stabilization account, interest is not posted for the quarter ending December 31st and quarter ending March 31st. But at the same time, we have a consultant coming on board. So she would be picking up all the stuff and she would be able to provide us. But I do not know if I can provide you actuals anytime soon. So my question is that first, I provide final report for 2024. Second, do you want actuals as of September 24? Or you would like September 24 and the draft for March 31st or December 31st or month by month? I don't know how you all would like to see that report. Won't happen in next 2 weeks.
Right. I'll just give my reaction is, the draft sounds good to me if it's not a huge lift for you. Just because we go into budget season every year and often in the course of budget season, we get caught up on a lot of things that have happened in the meantime. I think that the best, however, the best information that we can get to get us the fullest picture that we can of where things are, with the understanding that there are processes and that there's things that are outstanding and we need to be aware of that context. I still think that just anything that can help us to go in and start to understand, and have a good understanding of where things are entering into that budget season would be super helpful.
Okay, so what I'll do, I can provide, sorry.
No, we were just agreeing with each other.
Oh,
It
okay.
rarely happens. Let's have a moment.
You were like, good job.
So what I can do for next meeting is I can provide actuals for 2024
Okay.
as I prepare that document for audit purposes and for some other documentation and submission to DOR purposes. And then draft one, I might be able to do on the following weekend or whatever.
Yeah,
for
sure.
2 weeks, 4 weeks from now.
Right, yeah.
Try to do that. Yes, go ahead.
And your actuals for, do you say actuals for 2024?
Yes,
Is that the second half of 2024 or calendar year 2024?
fiscal year 2024. So that
So
would
the
be
one that
July
ended
of
last year.
23 to December, July of 23 to June of 24.
Because we're in 25 right now.
Fiscal year 25, yes.
So we're talking about the books that closed last June, June, and year prior. And,
Yeah.
and the,
Yes.
beyond that, from the
Yes, so
prior
it's
year.
yes, so it's
I can't even remember what years it was. So 23 and 24.
yes, 23,
Whew.
24.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what we're talking about. I just want to make
Yes.
sure I was on the same page. Got it.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
that's another thing is that is one of the document I use to, along with the draft numbers, to project, to balance the expenditure budget, because every expense dollar has to have a matching revenue dollar. That's called the balance budget
Sure.
in our world. So and on my side, I have to do it's a guesstimate because actuals are different. And everything has its best practices guidelines from DLS-DOR. I tried to follow that. It gets challenging.
It's a good rule of thumb to follow the rules.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Super. That sounds awesome. Thank you.
So I'll send that to you before next week.
Super.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Actually,
Yes.
it just occurred to me, I'm on vacation that week, but I can send you guys report.
If you can just send it along, then we'll have a chance to
Yeah.
just review it.
I
Yeah.
just realized it's not next week, the following week I'm not here, so.
I hope you have a nice vacation.
Yeah, great
I
vacation.
am hoping I haven't even started anything.
Woo! Enjoy it. Yes, deserve it.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.